Good morning, friends. Welcome to this episode of the Start From the Hart podcast, gratitude podcast. The idea is a combination of what I've been doing for the last 5 years with the From the Heart podcast and a gratitude journal that I've also been doing for about that same amount of time, where when I do the gratitude journal each morning, I write down three things that I'm grateful for, three things that would make today great, and then three statements about myself. They call them I am statements. If you're not new age or what have you, the I am can just be simply a statement of, for me, oftentimes, all right, I am healthy, I'm happy, I'm making a positive impact. And I change it up quite a bit. But then at the end of the day, I'll write down what went well today and what could I have done better? What would have made today better? We're not necessarily going to follow that format this morning. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening, you don't see him. I apologize for that. El hombre muy guapo, the very handsome man. If you see him on YouTube, you see my dear friend. We've been probably best man friends for the last 20 years. And if you know what I'm talking about when I say that. Somebody that's just, if you're getting married, this is the guy you call to be, if he's not the officiator and so forth, he's your best man. Hector Garcia, muchas gracias. Thanks for joining me this morning, buddy. How you doing?
Hijo, what an intro.
There
Jeez.
you go, man. There you go. I want these
Yeah.
people to know who they're about to hear.
I feel grateful to be on your podcast. This is awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
it's my pleasure. We've had you on the long form podcast. Today is going to be short and sweet.
Yep.
Like you, short and sweet, right? Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Sweet sometimes.
So I'm just going to kick it off right now. I'm going to ask you a
Sure.
question, respond however you'd like, and then
Yeah,
we'll
cool.
chat for a few minutes. So when you think of or you hear the word gratitude, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
I guess it's funny because I feel a lot of people say don't compare yourself to others. I kind of always compare myself to others, and I feel gratitude that for what I have. For instance, they say take a cold shower, right? It helps with inflammation and stuff like that. It invigorates you, gets you going first thing in the morning. It kind of sucks to do that. Have you done that before?
Yeah, I have.
Kind of sucks, right? It's not comfortable.
Yeah. Sometimes by design, sometimes, when I lived in Ecuador, the only option was cold shower.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So let's say you were in a prison in Ecuador. You
Yeah.
may
No,
not,
thanks.
you don't get warm water. You probably only get cold water. You might get hurt in the shower by somebody else. It might be rust water. You might get a shower once a week. What do I have to complain about?
Right.
I am incredibly grateful for my circumstance,
I love that.
for where I'm at. If I have to get up early, like at 5 a.m., to be on a podcast with my homie at 7,
There you go.
at least I'm in a comfortable bed. Some people don't have that. So I
Right.
feel incredible gratitude for those things. We people ignore those, I would imagine, for the most part. And I feel gratitude for those things. If I get up and I'm gonna go climb that hill, right? The hill that I post about
Right.
my neighborhood, and I'll jog up that hill. And it's a little bit of a challenge, but at least I have a hill that's safe
Right.
in a safe neighborhood, right? And I feel comfortable. There's not traffic. It's like solace, peaceful. I feel grateful for that, and feel grateful for the people in my life that it's just so many lessons. I just feel like without the people that came before us to give us those lessons, um, we wouldn't have the path that we're on, this
Yeah. We're all
entrepreneurial
standing on
path.
the shoulders of giants, as they say, right?
Sure.
Somebody
Yeah.
before us. Yeah. You're reminding me of the quote that you've heard and I've heard, and I think we've shared this with each other in the past, is I used to feel sorry for myself because I had no shoes. And then I saw a man with no feet.
There you go. Yeah.
We're always, I mean, Hector and I, just so those of you listening and watching, we text at least every day. We speak almost every day. We don't see each other every day. This is a treat. And actually, it's kind of fun. A little inside baseball here. After we log out of this and I post this up on LinkedIn and everywhere else, Hector and I are meeting up with another friend today, Walter Yankowski. We're meeting at 9 o'clock for coffee. So I'm going to get to see you twice today.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I like that thought of not comparing ourselves to other people, but when we compare from the perspective of gratitude, and not to say I'm better than somebody else, I'm just more blessed than many. I mean, you and I, we have conversations when things aren't going so well for one or both of us, and when
Right.
things are going great for one or both of us. And when it's not going so great, we're still in that upper 1%. You know, if I have
Absolutely.
$974 in my bank account, there's 99% of the world that would kill for that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
They would kill you
that's,
for that.
yeah, and about 20% that would. Yeah, you're right. But yeah,
I'm just, I just put myself in another, I have perspective.
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
grateful for perspective and discernment, you know?
When you look back at the end of a day, I asked somebody else this question the other day. For me, I look at my days in terms of, being a sports guy like I am, sports is all about wins and losses. 2 nights ago, the Dodgers won 6-5 in a walk-off win in the 10th inning. Last night, they laid an egg and lost 6-1. Every day, they can look
Right.
back at the last 50 games and say, we either won or we lost. I tend to look at my life that way too. Oftentimes, at the end of the day, when my head hits the pillow and I'm finally alone in my thoughts and, falling asleep, I think to myself, did I win today or did I lose today? And a win for me is, did I connect with people? Did I influence someone? Did I do things to, like I talked about my I ams? I am healthy, I'm happy, I'm making a positive impact. Did I do those things? And if I didn't, then it's either a tie or sometimes it's a loss. Are there
Yeah.
things in your life, and maybe you don't look at it that way, maybe you don't frame it that same way, but at the end of the day, when you lay down, you put your head on the pillow, the thoughts, don't take me through all the thoughts you have. I know you well enough to know that I don't want that. But I also do, know you well enough to know that you do look at your days in a way that,
Yeah.
this was a good day or bad day. What makes a good day for Hector, I guess, is what I'm asking.
I don't, when I can count three things as I lay down and go, what are the three things that I made impact onto? Whose lives did I maybe just give a
Yeah.
little something to? Who did I help today?
Yeah.
And it's anything, it's like camaraderie, or I met somebody and I helped them, or I made somebody smile. It's just something small. Like I so I count those things. Those are the three that I do
Yeah.
that. And then I also go, what am I going to do tomorrow to make somebody's life just a little bit whatever, you
Yeah.
know? I meet people in the strangest places, the cleaners,
Right. Yeah.
there's a guy there and happens to be a Christian guy, and he compliments me on my shoes or something. Next thing you know, we're striking up a conversation, and he's just this amazing, amazing dude.
Yeah.
And we're building a relationship, and he's connecting me with somebody else. And it's, I don't know, man. My number one core value is creativity. And I think the art of um, connecting with people is creativity. I
Yeah.
think you and I share that in common. And I can't think of too many other people that I feel like you and I are kindred spirits, man. I
I
mean,
do too.
we need people,
Yeah.
and we get creative to be around people.
And that's the measure of a good day for both of us too.
Yeah.
Is who did we impact? My solo episode yesterday was about a woman I met at the car wash. Young 30 something young mother, and gave her a bobblehead, and it was as if I just handed her a bag of groceries to a hungry person. It's like that
Yeah.
was the greatest thing in the world that she could go give to her little boy.
Sure.
And
Wow.
that's,
Very cool.
that was just my wife had a bobblehead in the car that she didn't want in her car, and I was getting her car washed. And it's like,
Yeah.
doing everybody a favor. I got to, get rid of the bobblehead, got to get it on my wife's car with that little boy. So
Who'd you
yeah,
give
it's
away?
impact. It was Bobby Miller. It was, yeah, I was saying on the podcast, I'm glad it wasn't my Mookie Betts bobblehead that I have right now, because that would have been a hard one to separate, to part with. But
But you know what? Actually, it wouldn't be.
yeah, no, if it, it's again, it's impact. And you can see somebody smile. When I used to take the train to LA every day when I worked at USC, probably 3 to 4 and sometimes 5 days a week, I'd take the train. And the good days for me were the days that I would think, I'm going to smile at 5 strangers today.
Mm,
And, 5 out of 5 times, if I did it,
yeah,
it made my day better. I don't
sure.
know what it did for them. I saw a smile in return, but I don't know if they thought about it after that moment or not. But I thought about it all day.
Yeah. No, basically makes an impact for them and for you. And I
Yeah.
think that's what we thrive on is, kind of like, I don't know, like I create things, right? And
Mhm.
I wow my clients and I get satisfaction out of that.
Yeah.
I get a
Your
lot of
company is MBN Creative. You have creative in the word of your company. So yeah, it's
yeah,
obviously important.
yeah, yeah, it is. It's something that I would shrivel up and die if I didn't have this outlet of being creative.
Yeah.
If I wasn't an entrepreneur, if I was stuck in a cubicle or a factory or something, not that there's anything wrong with that, but for
Right.
me personally,
Yeah.
that's what got me to handle life as a youngster, being creative. And so it's got me to be able to handle life better, being creative, being able to impact people, make somebody smile, make somebody some money, like just find ways to connect with so many different levels of people wherever they're at.
So in the couple of minutes we have left, we like to keep these short, and you and I could talk for hours, and we're going to get together an hour from now and sit down and chat. So we'll
Yeah.
continue this conversation, just not for the world to see and hear.
Right.
When you think about today, today is Thursday, June 5th, 2025. I almost said 24. I almost said 1984. It's how fast life goes. Literally, it popped into my head before I said 2025. It's funny. What would make today great? This day, today, June 5th.
Ah, it's already great, man, being here with you. I mean,
Ditto.
I'm honored. It's cool, man. It's just it's already great and typically a great start of a day. You finish with a great ending. And I already feel, a little bit lighter on my feet, man. Just knowing that I'm gonna get to talk to you and then I'm gonna get to see you later. I get to meet one of your friends, one of
Yeah.
your colleagues that you told me one line about what he said, and I'm like, I got to meet this cat.
Right.
When can we sit down and have coffee? Because he's made an impact on you. And because he
Definitely.
made an impact on you and switched your mindset a little bit, I love this dude already. I'm like, I got to meet him, man.
First thing
He's
Hector said to me when I told him about Walter, and I'll share maybe on another episode, and when I get Walter on, hopefully next week. So Walter, that is a call out to you to get on this next week. Hector said, I want to hug this guy. So
yeah,
you get that chance in about an hour.
absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So beyond that, so we're done with our coffee this morning. It's 11 o'clock or whatever time it is. What's the next big thing? You don't have to walk through the agenda of your day, but tonight, when you look back, obviously making an impact, is there anything out there on your calendar today that you're really looking forward to beyond our
Um,
coffee in an hour?
Just, well, I'm actually taking part in a 30-day challenge with um was it Stephen Bartlett from Diary of a CEO?
Yeah.
So he's got a 30-day challenge where you every single day you're doing something toward a goal of having a new business. It's a new business model and on Stand Store. And so I'm looking forward to that. I've got this 7-day challenge that I'm posting every day.
Yeah.
So I've got a little homework to that. I like getting out of my comfort zone.
Hmm.
And so I will be getting out of my comfort zone. So I'm looking forward to that. And just, my team is brimming with, I don't know, just connectivity. Like we're connected. We're far away. Some of my employees are remote, but we're connected. Like there's this spirit and this energy and this camaraderie that I just love. So I'm looking forward to that. I got to get my tires changed, rotated right after coffee. So
Nice.
I'm
You're going to make an
probably
impact on
gonna,
someone there. You're going to be sitting there waiting for the tires, and you're going to change somebody's life. I know you.
dude, I'll shoot a video in there, and I think
Right?
I have got a video
You
with
have
my team because I
at
had to
your,
get my
yeah.
car serviced.
Yep.
Going, hey, we're setting up office here in this place, and I've been getting
Yeah.
my tires and my wheels at Wheel Warehouse for X amount of years, and they always take care of me. So yeah, I'm gonna do something. That's part of my creativity. I cannot not be creative
All
somehow,
right.
some
So
way. So that's
I'm
it,
gonna
baby.
awesome. I'm gonna finish this conversation. You mentioned Stephen Bartlett, who you introduced me to, not to him literally, but I listened to his podcast. That's what I'll be listening to on my drive to see
Yeah.
you here in a little bit. One of the things he does at the end of every one of his podcast interviews, and I love it, and I have implemented it not in every conversation, but when I think about it, and I'm thinking about it now because you brought him up for my next guest, which tomorrow you don't know this guy,
Okay.
so I'm not even tell you who it is. It doesn't matter.
Great. Doesn't
Um,
matter.
no. Give me a challenge or a question
Okay.
that you would like me to pose to this person tomorrow.
Okay. What is the greatest setback, challenge, obstacle you've ever faced? And how did you feel about that? And what was the greatest moment and springboard from that? Because I believe that when you're in your darkest moment, your back is up against the wall, you have no place to go. So you figure out life, and some amazing things happen from those dark places, these lights, these accomplishments. So I want to know, what did that person, with this guy, I have no
Yeah.
idea who it is,
Yeah.
what is that, like, time in your life when your back was up against the wall, you had no other options, and how great of an impact was the turnaround? Like, what happened, that, because we all have, you know we all go through stuff.
Yeah.
So, and we're sometimes we can't see tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes, we're like, holy cow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So what breakthrough, what transformation, what happened? That was a long question, but
No, it's good. I like it. And yeah, and I'll tell you now, it's a good buddy of mine, Dan, who runs a family business program at Cornell University up on the East Coast in upstate New York. And I met Dan through my family business alliance experience for 11 years when I ran the center at Cal State Fullerton. Dan and I stayed close. He called yesterday, and I invited him on tomorrow. So that's going to be one of the
cool, man.
first questions that my buddy Dan gets. So
Awesome.
I'm probably going to take this recording of you asking that question and play it for him so he can hear it live tomorrow. So, all
I love
right,
it. And
brother,
I'm going to make sure I watch it, because I want to know I
you want
truly
to hear
want
his
to
answer?
reaction. Yeah, I want
Yeah,
to know. I want to
yeah.
know, what was the breakthrough moment? What was the greatness that came out of that darkness?
All right, and not now because of time, but in an hour when I see you, I want to hear your answer to that question for
Oh,
you and me.
yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
We won't
Love it,
record
brother.
it, but if anybody wants to know the answer to Hector's question that Hector just posed for my buddy Dan, which
Yeah.
will be tomorrow, June 6th, um, you know, reach out and or reach out to Hector. Let Hector tell you the answer to that question. So again, day five? Yeah, day five, actually, I think, of the Start From the Heart podcast, a little idea that came through some conversations with friends from Capital One and my good friend Allie Taylor from Orange Kiwi Consulting, who's the title sponsor for my From the Heart podcast. Most importantly, I'm grateful today for my good buddy Hector Garcia, who I've known, like I said, not quite 20 years, but one of those people I can't remember when we didn't know each other. I look back at the greatest moments in my life that happened before I met you, and I, in a weird sort of cosmic way, feel like you were there, even though we didn't know each other yet. I feel like you were
Yeah.
by my side when I was running the minor league baseball team, or when I got married 32 years ago, or when I became a dad, or what have you. You were around when I became a grandpa, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So, all
Awesome.
right,
All
buddy.
right, brother. See you in a
Thanks,
bit.
man. See you in a
All
bit.
right.
Thanks, Hector.
Take
Have a
care.
great day, everyone. Take care.